Are we done yet?
No, we're just starting.
Oh, okay.
No, just the build up and anticipation for the show is it takes a minute with your one-armed friend over here not wearing the sling today, and maybe I should be.
Man, I'm excited. Excited to be working with you.
Dude, it's always a pleasure to work with you in any capacity, and you were my first guest on this show, and you are back for the 25th episode of Jeremiah Wonders.
Wow. I thought when I was doing that first episode, I'm like, this is only going to last 2 or 3 episodes. This is not going to make it. But
I'm glad that you had so much faith in the show.
I'm a believer in what works and what doesn't work. Clearly, you made some changes. The show has evolved. It's a much higher production value now. This wasn't here.
I mean, yeah, that definitely wasn't there. When the first time that you did it, we were just on the couch over there, and things have slowly been improving, and we're on video now. That's happening.
Yeah. Whoa!
Whoa!
Oh,
wow! Hey!
Oh man!
Oh, yeah.
I'll play to camera.
Yeah. No, I'm excited. We're gonna actually do we're gonna do a fun segment with which I've never done before, with this TV and screen a little bit later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Make sure you watch the video.
Oh yeah, you're gonna have to hop on and watching this video. This is gonna be a very visual episode for you.
Wow! Look how good that one
I
good
know
arm
that
works.
one good arm is. Woo! Reagan going overtime.
Really overcompensating. An army of one.
Mm-hmm. Dude, we just celebrated 5 years of Kill Tony on Monday at the Comedy Store.
It was unbelievable. I had so much fun. It was probably the greatest night of my life. I think it edged out the Snoop roast. I really do. Wow. I think it's the greatest accomplishment. My special taping, Snoop roast, I think Kill Tony 5 year is the new number one.
Well, I am going to implore anybody to look that up. The live stream's up now, and Red Band's working on the edit of the 4K version. But it's a comedy special.
It's crazy.
It's like not even. There's so many surprise guests. There's so many surprise elements. It's like a star-studded evening. It's amazing.
Yeah, I put a little extra effort into this one, and we made up a video, a pre-made video that played beforehand, which, sort of showed how the show started, how it's evolved, what it's come from. Everybody's sort of like their first time sort of like in it, and it's all flying through it. Some tribute to the regulars, some tribute to some of our favorite fallen soldiers, Rowdy Roddy Piper and Ralphie May and Kevin Lee Light and Mitzi Shore, and a lot of the people that have been part of the show that we've lost along the way. And then we just got into it, guns a-blazing.
That was very surreal to see. Just in the past 5 years of us knowing just all of our friends and acquaintances through comedies and people who we've looked up to, that we've lost some pretty huge juggernauts of comedy. And it's just within 5 years. It hit me whenever I was watching it later. I was like, man, this is crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, it hit me too. I almost teared up watching it for the first time when Brian put it together, and when I actually saw it. Like, I knew it was coming because I went through everything and sort of found the timestamps, but seeing it on the screen in the main room right before the show, right before we opened doors, it really, really hit me hard. It was like, I don't know how to put it, but I mean, Rowdy Roddy Piper, Ralphie May, Mitzi Shore I built everything that I do out of that club. And Kevin Lee Light was one of the most positive human beings that I've ever met in the world. He was my across-the-street neighbor when I first moved to West Hollywood. Well, not when I first moved to West Hollywood, but when I moved out living with a bunch of comedians and moved in with my girlfriend at the time. This is like 10 years ago. He literally lived across the street from me. For those of you that don't know, Kevin Lee Light is West Hollywood Jesus. It's a man that's super positive, super cool, and he literally looked like Jesus Christ.
And he was in a ton of people's music videos, and he was always on TMZ. Like, he was a famous figure in Hollywood.
But 10 years ago, he had never been to the Comedy Store, and I was always super nice to him. And back then, it was only 10 years ago, but people weren't it wasn't an accepting thing. People were like, who's the crazy guy that dresses like Jesus? But I was always super nice because he was always super nice. I dabbled in it, and he just got nicer and nicer. He was my across the street neighbor when I moved to that place, and he was the apartment manager for his building. So I'd walk out of my apartment on a beautiful day, and you look across the street, and Jesus is over there watering flowers and, picking something off the ground and throwing it in the trash. It was so surreal because he was so Jesus-like. And, I mean, I went to a Catholic school with a bunch of teachers that were mean to me, and I've always sort of been anti-religion, if you will. Not really like outgoingly anti, but I've just been like, whatever gets anybody through their day has always been my sort of outlook on it. But nobody made me believe in, as weird as it sounds, nobody sort of made me believe in Jesus like Kevin Lee Light did. To me, he was Jesus, sort of. I just always sort of treated him on a...
It's like personifying what, Jesus is supposed to be.
Yeah.
Giving to others, loving everybody, treating everybody equally.
Yeah. So I don't think a lot of people know this, but I definitely was his segue into the Comedy Store. We had a fun relationship from being neighbors, and even back then I was a barista at Starbucks.
That's something that you and I share in common.
Yep.
We used to both be baristas at Starbucks.
Look at us now.
Hello. The golden pony and the golden goose.
So, yeah, losing those people, it was huge. And I knew that we could throw those tributes at the end of the video because I knew that it was about to be hot gas. Bruce Buffer pulling in a huge, performance.
People freaked out.
I knew
whenever that screen came up and they're standing the voice of the UFC.
I made a point to put him in the video from episode 100 when he brought up our new and our past regulars for their final time. We made the switch from Kim and Sarah to Ali Makovsky and Melissa Esslinger at the time. And I made sure to put his intros of that in the video that played before because it was in the belly room because he was wearing a black t-shirt and jeans. And when I talked to him a couple weeks ago, he goes, you think I should, how do you feel? You just tell me, be honest. You think I should get dressed up for this one? I go, to be honest with you, Bruce, I think you should. It's the main room. It's going to be packed. That these people are going to be animals. So I knew that it was a good seed to plant in those people's heads, him a couple times in the black t-shirt, the belly room, and all of a sudden, boom, that screen goes up and he's in that purple suit. I mean, people literally lost their minds. I'm getting the chills again telling the story. I had written out those cards for him days before, excitedly, in his voice. I'm such a huge fan of him. I made a joke about him in my Netflix special in which I say, stand-up comedy is a cool job, but there's people with better jobs out there. And I talk about Michael Buffer, and then I go, but even cooler than Michael Buffer, his brother Bruce. Anyway,
They're the Buffer brothers.
Yeah, well, I made a point to make sure that my outlook of Bruce being one of the coolest people in the world with the coolest job was out there, and he sort of immortalized, forever. So we've always had a great respect for one another, and he comes and sees comedy shows sometimes, and he just, there's no other way to get a party started than with Bruce Buffer.
Oh, yeah. And what's cool about, because you mentioned some of the other, like, super memorable, obviously, like, landmarks in your life whenever you did, like, the Snoop Dogg roast and your Netflix special, is you had your wife and your mom with you at the Comedy Store on Monday. That's so cool.
Yeah, I flew in my mom from Youngstown, Ohio, and on top of all the other... I don't want to give everything away, but I feel like probably a lot of people that listen to this show probably are Kill Tony fans. If not, they're insane because if they love you and don't watch that show, they are completely insane because you are, you're one of the important organs that keeps the whole body of the show flowing. And, other than I wrote out, Bruce Buffer's part. I time-stamped the video. I wrote out an entire thing of lighting changes for the great Danny Lucas, who really shined. I mean,
that was awesome.
I mean, when I was rewatching the video,
Dude, those lighting cues.
oh my God, unbelievable.
Whenever your mom made that joke about Red Band, a spotlight goes on Red Band, and Red Band like literally was so like
and when
shocked.
she made the joke at the end about Joe Rogan, it zooms in on him.
Dude.
It was amazing.
His face whenever he literally pictured having sex with your mom for a second. Whenever she said that joke.
But I wrote out all those things, and I also wrote my mom a minute to close the show, and I knew it had to close the show. And I did that for a reason, which is because I was very aware that this thing was getting started with a bang. I knew I had Bruce Buffer. I knew that we were going to make a video. And it was only 5 or 6 days before, which I'm like, Mom, I'm going to need you to do something crazy. And she's so cool. I mean, she's just unbelievable. 72 years old and just down to have fun. She's been killing it at the Comedy Store all week.
Oh, dude. She was at Roast Battle last night, and people were chanting, Joy, Joy, Joy. She shut down an Instagram model last night, and it was amazing.
It was unbelievable. A 72-year-old mother of 5 shut down what has to be like a 23-year-old fucking, hot, klutzy 10. There's just nothing that couldn't have been any better. Because if you think about it, like even a guy being mean to an Instagram model that just bombed, like it's easy. You know what I mean? But me whispering into my mom's ear, and then I'll just share it on the show, like how it went down. Like this girl wrote a bad rap to make fun of the Roastmaster General Jeffrey Ross.
She literally said, Jeff Ross, he's the boss. And I stood up in the section of the wave, and I go, boo! And I got the whole room to go instantly. They were like, yep. Boo!
And while that's happening, literally while you're doing that, and I warned my mom earlier, I go, look, Roast Battle's a crazy show. I'm going to sit us right on the rail. We're going to be right next to Jeff Ross. And I know you gave a big performance last night, but listen, if I whisper something in your ear and I tell you to say it, you just take my direction, put the mic right at the tip of your mouth, and just say what I told you to say, right? And she goes, come on, I don't really want to. Last night was my big night. I'm like, look, you just got to trust me. This is like Fight Club. This is a big deal.
You're the mother to one of the top young rising comedians. You got one left in you, mama.
I go, we can lose all the last night's momentum. That's what I said. I'm just bullshitting her. But while you're doing the boo thing, in the moment, I'm literally going, all right, listen, here's what we're going to do, Mom. When I tap you, because I have my arm around her, literally around her, and I go, when I tap your shoulder twice like this, I go, you're going to grab that mic. And you're going to say the words. Oh, because we had already established, or Jeff had already said, Tony Hinchcliffe's mom's
set
here.
all of it up.
And I literally said, I'm excited to bring my mom to her first ever live roast battle. So 8 minutes later, you're booing the Instagram model. She just bombed. There's this tension in the air that even booing her really isn't putting her in her place, right? So I go to my mom, I go, all right, Mom, this is it. Here we go. Here's what you're going to do. When I tap you on the shoulder twice, you say, she's not part of this show every week, is she? And my mom turns to me and goes, oh, come on, she's sitting right next to me. I can't make that joke.
His mom is one of the sweetest ladies ever, by the way.
She's the sweetest, but she also gets it.
She
gets
it.
me that I'm putting her in position, and she felt the effects the night before.
Oh, of course.
Big time.
Of course.
I literally heard her tell someone on Monday night in the alleyway, like, I think that's the coolest thing I've ever done in my life. Yeah, it was cool getting to overhear her say that.
That's pretty cool, man.
At 72. So she goes, I don't want to say that to her. She's sitting right next to me. Come on, Tony. Please don't make me do it. I go, you have to. This place is going to go fucking ballistic. You have to. I'm literally like,
He's literally the little devil on his mom's shoulder.
At this point, I have both hands over her ears. I'm like, you absolutely have to. Just trust me. Trust me. And the mic comes back. Jeff gets it, but because somehow it just went by us because that girl's on the right of my mom and all the action's to the left. So Jeff ended up with the mic, but I go, Jeff, my mom has something she needs to say. And Jeff sets up my mom perfectly. Joy Hinchcliffe, what do you think about what's going on here? And she just said it. This girl isn't here every week, is she?
Dude, the room completely imploded on itself.
There's something that a 72-year-old woman, I mean, and I learned this writing for Martha Stewart for the Comedy Central roast of Justin Bieber, which it's like my mind combined with the vessel of an old lady. Like if I get to use my edge with this, with a likable, sweet, respected, smart lady, it's game over. You can see it in the Kill Tony set that she did. You can see it in Martha Stewart's set, and she did it again last night at Roast Battle.
Dude, the other moment where it also leveled the room was Moses asked her the question that he always asks female guests on the show: would you let the wave smash? And at first your mom goes, beg pardon?
Yeah, I don't quite understand the question. I go, say fuck yeah. Fuck yeah. It was crazy.
Dude, we went up on stage and like Coach T started playing music and the whole room was just like, this is amazing.
And there's what I've learned from the last couple days is there's nothing that makes me feel better than having my mom kill. Me getting the joke out there, what is it? It's a dime a dozen. We kill, we fail every week. With jokes fall flat, jokes crush. Who cares?
Yeah, you move forward.
But getting to watch your mom just soak it in and not know how to handle, she's sweating and tearing up at the same time. Like it's like it's just a type of joy that you can't, that you just can't. I've never really felt before. But there's something about making people laugh through my mom, who basically raised me like a single mom, and it's just amazing. It's a special time.
It's pretty cool, man.
Yeah.
You said you went to Catholic school.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, because the neighborhood that I grew up in was so bad that I had to go to the Catholic school. It's like it's hard to describe, but back then it was the murder capital of the world per capita. So basically it's the most dangerous neighborhood. It just doesn't have as many murders as Detroit, but Detroit has, millions of people. We had like 50,000 people and a murder per day. The average. So it was a very, very.
Is it Irish Catholic or is it just?
Youngstown is at the time that I was growing up there, it was probably like a 70-80% black, 10% Irish, 10% Italian.
Wow.
Yeah, maybe a little more Italian. But my neighborhood the neighborhood that I grew up in specifically was almost all black.
Did you have black kids going to your school?
Yep. Oh yeah. Any black kid that could went there.
Yeah.
But the other school, the public school, was all black, and really ratty, like the the ratty families that look like I don't know how to describe it.
Yeah, I'm like, what?
There was the Hoovers, the Farkases, you know what I mean? I mean, like, well, not the Farkases. Yeah. Anyway. But like there was like these dirty families. I don't know if you've ever seen them before. Like white kids covered in dirt.
There's this one family that we went with that my brother is friends with, where my mom dropped him off and he starts to pull up the garage door, like one of those sliding garage doors, like to get inside. Like that's how he's getting inside of his house.
That's like yeah. Where I grew up, that's like common.
Yeah, and he's like he's like lifting it, and my mom's like, sweetie, you need help? And he's like, no, okay. So I see a lot of boxes. Like we're talking boxes, crap everywhere. She's like, oh, did you guys just move in? He goes, no, we've always lived here.
Oh my god!
It was just like that was one of those like dirt people kids.
It's what it was. Where I grew up, that's what I thought life was like everywhere. I thought houses got arson down all the time. Like that was just a common thing. It just happened. If you look at where I grew up now on Google Maps, it's still there. Somehow, crazy enough, the Hinchcliffe house is still there. And you just see around it, you just see the plots. You can tell where the houses used to be. It's like a graveyard, how you can sort of see like, you could see
it's like the outline of
change in the grass. Yeah, you can see it. And it's like a graveyard of what used to exist there. So it's crazy.
Dude, I think one of your old teachers from your Catholic school is actually calling in right now.
Oh, really? Well,
Yeah.
let's take the call.
Okay.
I'm excited to see how this goes.
Hello? Sister, I can't really read what it says on the caller ID. Hello?
Hello, is this Tony Hinchcliffe?
Yes, it is. Hello.
This is Sister Eleanor.
Oh, hi, Sister Eleanor. Wow, it's been a long time. It's been a really long time.
Yes, I wanted to call you and clear the air about something, Tony.
Oh, okay. Well, feel free, sister. Go ahead.
I've been upset to this day of how you used to talk about me behind my back.
Oh, yeah?
Do you remember some of the insults you used to slew me with?
Yes, indeed. I used to make fun of you a lot. I call you an old bag and a liar and a trickster.
The trickster hurt the most. The others were commonplace. But how dare you call me a trickster whenever I'm a lover of God?
I'm really sorry. Looking back on it, it was probably a little bit too much.
It was too much. I was just a plain woman. You couldn't put makeup on me face. I couldn't make myself look more pretty for you, and yet you call me some trickster like I'm some kind of floozy out on the street selling my body.
Sister, I'm really, really sorry. Praise be to Jesus.
Well, we're getting back on the right foot at least right now. Do you have anything else you want to say to me before me goes?
I want to thank you and all my teachers for telling me that being mean to people was never going to get me anywhere.
Yes, I remember that very specifically. I'd pull you to the side of the classroom and I'd say, Tony, Anthony,
Yes.
do not be mean to other children. It's not going to get you anywhere in life. You're not going to be able to make money at this.
It's true.
This is not a career field for you.
It's true. And sister, I just want to let you know that I just signed on to write for my 7th Comedy Central roast, and I drove a brand new Corvette here today. You stupid bitch.
What?
Yeah, you stupid bitch trickster.
A Corvette?
Yes. 2019 Corvette,
I
you
don't even
silly
care. You're
fuck.
calling me a bitch trickster. You got a Corvette?
Yes. It's a Grand Touring Sport V8 8-speed.
I've always wanted one of those. Did you start worshiping the devil? Did you sell your soul to the devil? What happened, Anthony? What happened?
No, I didn't sell my soul, but I did put it down as a down payment for the 2019 Corvette that I got.
Well, Tony,
Yeah.
I'm glad you at least apologized a little bit. I've been thinking and stewing on this for the past 20 years. But I guess best of luck to you and your roast persona.
Thank you, Sister Trickster. It's good to hear from you again.
Sister Eleanor, but all right, goodbye.
Bye-bye. That was crazy.
That was a real blast from the past, wasn't it?
I haven't talked to any of my old teachers in a long time.
Yeah, man. Has anybody from Ohio ever hit you up out of the blue? Like you'll get a random email or a Facebook message and you're like, who? What?
Not really. I got off Facebook last year.
Do you feel good about that?
It's the greatest thing I've ever done. Can I tell you something great? The greatest part? I just had my first birthday pass in which I was off Facebook. And I got like 8 phone calls. My 2 brothers, my 2 sisters, my mom, my dad, in a shocking turn of events, called me on my birthday, not the day after or whatever. And, a couple of my best friends. And it was amazing because I'm so used to getting these ridiculous. It's just so dumb what happens now on birthdays. We're like, it's like I know now. I knew that they were seeing it on Facebook, and now it's been confirmed. These doofballs that I guess they must wake up every day and look at Facebook and go, whose birthday is it today? Whose ass can I kiss today? It's like, what? Get out of here. What does happy birthday mean? Because let me promise you something. If you're telling happy birthday to anybody that is like important or whatever, they're getting better messages than yours anyway. How about that? Get it together. These losers.
I felt bad because I was...
Yeah, you're one of the Facebook birthday watchers, clearly, because I didn't hear anything from you for 6 days.
Dude, I didn't...
You're one of the losers that Facebook birthdays people.
I don't do it as much anymore. Man. I just, I see people. I see people have birthdays, and, if I have the time, I'll throw them a happy birthday.
I literally noticed you specifically, by the way. I'm like, oh, that's funny. I noticed
because I
Jeremiah.
have no context
Right.
now. It's not in my phone or anything.
Yeah.
Just switched. And
That's right.
man, I felt bad whenever I found out it was your birthday. And, the only thing I could do is I bought Tony a birthday crepe whenever we were in Portland together.
That's right. That's what I get. $6 crepe. Big spender over here. Took him on the Monster Energy Outbreak Tour. Gave him an opportunity to be to flex his vessel on Kill Tony. Put him right in position to have a gigantic fan base to perhaps one day start his own big podcast. Get at least 25 episodes into that. And what do I get? A crepe. Yeah.
But how good was that crepe, though?
It was an amazing crepe. Man. I wouldn't have changed it for the world.
Okay, heck yeah.
I mean, I saw someone at a meet and greet just give you a stack of cash right before that. Literally, like, thank you for all the free content that you provide. He hands Jeremiah a stack of cash. A stack. I mean, I'm not going to say anywhere near the exact amount, but you need to know that what I'm saying is not an exaggeration or a joke. He gave him probably as much money as he got paid that weekend for working with me in one swoop. And I got a birthday crepe, ladies and gentlemen. Ooh, boy. Man.
Oh, I'm sweating. I'm laughing so hard.
Because it's true.
It is true. Tony watched me get a stack of money to the point where the guy goes, hey, don't bring this up on social media or anything like that. Because I don't want any shout outs or I know how you do it. Like, don't do that.
I love that. It warms my heart. It always surprises me that more people don't do that. Like, donate or like just out of the kindness of their heart.
I'll tell you what, Portland was, as far as like our stops like that we've made together, one of the most generous cities.
I warned you about that. I mean, they're just the best, one of the best comedy towns in the country.
It was, but it also, Tony was making fun of me because we did these shows in Portland all weekend where I would take my sling off to go perform and do my stand-up sets on stage.
Oh my God.
But whenever we would do the meet and greets afterwards, I would have the sling on because my doctor said, like, don't let anybody touch your arm while it's healing. Like, you can't shake hands. Don't be doing any of that kind of stuff. Yeah. And Tony took it as that I was trying to get more money for donations. For stuff.
Where's your donations only sign? Where's that sad scrap of paper? One of the saddest pieces of paper I've ever seen. I've been handed notes in which it's like, like old Game of Thrones, like your grandfather has passed. But meanwhile, I've never seen a sadder piece of paper than donations please, smiley face. Like, oh my God, I've never seen a smiley face make me want to cry for someone.
And it was written with my non-dominant hand, so the handwriting isn't that good either. So Tony was just making fun of me on every level, and I was like crying, laughing. And the back he's like, are you making more money this weekend because of your arm?
Because it looks like it appeared from the audience's perspective that Jeremiah put his arm in a sling in order to sell more inflatable saxophones. I told him he should do it forever from now on.
He said that should be my thing, is do the shows normally, but then be just in a sling during the meet and greets.
Takes nothing. You slide it right into a backpack pocket, take it with you to the venue, throw it on after the show.
Got us on the plane a little.
Your arm may be broke, but you will never be again.
There it is.
Get some money.
There it is.
That's right. Right. With your arm behind your back.
You told me one story that I want you to share that we were while we were actually eating pizza. Actually, let's get into this next segment. Pizza party.
Ooh, I love it. Yeah.
Pizza, 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 time for a pizza party.
So we just enjoyed some pizza from Joe's.
Delicious Joe's Pizza. Nothing goes better with a powerful coffee that I like to drink in the mornings than a slice of pizza. Thank you.
You shared a story while we're eating our pizza, actually, that I want you to actually share on this podcast because it was very enjoyable, and it was back in your school days.
Do you remember what made me start that story though? Oh, I remember. Okay, yes, because we were talking about the faking an injury in order to not face embarrassment, and it reminded me of my freshman year of high school. I joined the track team for the first time ever.
Was this a Catholic school, or was this? Yeah.
Oh yeah. And I joined track in order to increase my endurance for the upcoming wrestling season. So I'm like, great, I'll run track. It's after school, whatever. Blah, blah, blah. And I get assigned to the 1600, which it turns out is 4 laps around the track. But this is my first time running track. You know, all the other people that run track, they've been running track, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th grade. Anyway, I'm so excited about it. My mom and my sister are there to watch me run track for the first time. I'm watching the 100 and the 200 and the 400. I'm like, man, that's pretty cool. People are running. This is great. Coming up, 1600. And I'm like, oh, I'm gonna crush this. My mind has always been like, use your confidence to crush, and the rest will fall into place, right? And so that gun goes off, and I just go guns a-blazing. I mean, I am sprinting, just like I saw people do in the 100, the 200, the 400. I'm just gone, and I'm smoking these people. I'm like, look at all these idiots behind me. On the first turn, I'm just like, oh, what a bunch of losers. And I come around that first lap. I'm so far out front. I'm like a quarter of the track out front. My mom and my sister are in the stands, like leaning up against the fence type of thing. And they're just going crazy. Woo, Tony, you're killing it. Yeah. And I'm just, it's starting to feel it a little bit though. You know what I mean? I'm coming on that first, the first turn on the second lap, and I'm starting to lose a step. I'm starting to get sort of tired. I'm like, oh, it's okay. I only have 2 more times and 3/4 around this track.
Just the math is just completely off
right.
on all of this.
Yeah. Well, no, I had 2 3/4 because I'm 1 1/4 through.
No, like your math for like how fast you should go.
Oh, right. Oh, my God.
And pacing.
And while I'm like 2 3/4 left, we can do this. Just maintain. All of a sudden, I see one guy pass me up. Right? And then all of a sudden another guy passes me up and another guy passes me up. I come up to the line on lap 2 with 2 more laps to go. I'm in like 6th place now all of a sudden. My mom and my sister's still going crazy. Like, woo, come on, you got it. Like, it's more supportive, the howling now. I mean, I'm basically done at this point. I'm so gassed, it's ridiculous. I can't feel my legs, but they're moving. And I think about faking a knee injury. I'm literally like, oh, all I have to do is grab my knee and like fall into the grass. It'll be perfect. But I just kept going. I didn't end up doing that. I come around on the 3rd lap. I'm so far in last place. I mean, I am so far behind everybody. This egotistical dork that went guns a-blazing from the get. Probably everybody in anywhere near the track just like, look at that idiot. I mean, that's ever done track before. They're probably like, wow, what a moron. Look at him from the beginning. Meanwhile, I'm like, ooh, yeah.
Meanwhile, your mom and your sister at the very beginning was like, he's so talented. He's so fast. Yeah. That first lap.
I came around on the 4th lap. They're gone. They're in the car already. They're no
cars are running.
They're no longer
like,
Tony, get out of here, you embarrassment. No, I'm kidding. They weren't like that, but I didn't quit, even though I really wanted to. I really pictured like, oh my God, I have to. But I didn't, which is, I mean, whatever.
Have you always been that guy who's been like 100% confident always?
Mind over matter.
Yeah, dude.
Gotta do it.
Yeah.
I'm taking it with us to Skankfest in this basketball game. I'm taking it, it's the thing. It's all I've ever had is the incredible insecurity of, having a dad that, wasn't around, but was around, but wasn't around my life. You know what I mean? It's just an incredible psychological placement and condition. A cool, free-spirited mom with a lot of wisdom. I don't know how exactly I ended up like this, but that's definitely, my standout sort of quality is, a ridiculous amount of confidence, perhaps unnecessary, unearned confidence. But hey, Corvette, baby.
Is your dad like an OG Italian?
He's as OG as it gets. I mean, a wife beater underneath a jogging suit with the gold chain. I mean, OG though, because he's not like, hey, he's the
Like
guy. He's,
Olive Garden.
yeah, right. No, he's like the boss level. So he's like, he's very much like Tony Soprano, very much like the main guy Chaz Palminteri in A Bronx Tale. Very much he's boss level. Like it's like watching The Sopranos is sometimes sort of crazy for me, and like it was hard but exciting for me because it was very much a lot of stuff that reminded me of my dad and my life and the things that sort of even though he didn't live with me and my mom, it was just very relatable. He was always closer with my older brothers and sisters, and he wasn't even their dad, but he was around the house more before I was born. And they can't even watch A Bronx Tale, directed by Robert De Niro. It's an amazing movie because it's too hard for them to watch. I don't want to give anything away, but let's just say it wouldn't, it just makes them sad because it scared them for what could have happened to my dad. But he survived. Another survivor. He didn't quit. He didn't fake the knee injury and fall into the grass on the third lap of the 1600.
This might be a little bit crazy, but I think your dad might be calling into the podcast.
God, Jesus. Well, that's funny. I usually only get one phone call a year from him, so this will be fun.
This will be a treat. I think he's calling in. Is this Tony's father who's calling in right now?
Hey, hello there. What's up, Tone? How's it going, bud? How are ya?
Oh my God, Dad, I can't believe you got the number to Jeremiah Wonders.
Well, I didn't know the reach of this podcast, but it makes me feel good every time that people know how to call in.
I'm a big fan of Jeremiah. I like the stupid shit, I like dumb characters and like stupid, silly shit. I've never been one for the cerebral humor, Tony. I don't like the evil, the edge. I don't know why you do that. I never really got it. You should be funny and silly, like Jeremiah, like Jerry Lewis, like Dean Martin, like the greats. This malarkey you do trying to push the edge, talking about school shootings and who died, it's stupid.
Jeez, Dad, I never really knew that you felt this way.
Wow, and I never knew that you were a fan of mine. Thank you so much.
Always have been, Jeremiah. Always will be. I mean, if it was up to me, I'd take you to the barber, get you a good trim, good haircut, get rid of that girly shit.
What kind of haircut would you advise me to get?
And shave it down. Shave it down all the way. Be a man. Be a real man. What is that? I bang chicks with shorter hair than you.
Really?
All the time.
Do you fix them an Italian dish after you're done? Because you own like an Italian restaurant, is that correct?
Yeah, I do in Youngstown, Ohio. After I give them the sausage and meatballs, I give them a little prosciutto.
Linguine sauce. I shoot Alfredo sauce all over their lower back.
A little cannelloni for their bologna.
Dad, what you're talking about is out of control here today. I cannot believe this. I am shocked, the star power that you're able to draw to this show.
So was there a reason that you called in other than to tell Tony that you don't like his comedy and that you like my comedy?
One thing I always noticed is that every time Tony and I talk on the phone, at the end of every phone call, it's always cracked me up. He always goes, all right, cool, Dad. Hey, I love you. And I always hang up the phone, right? Because I'm no softy like him. He was raised by his white trash mother, let's face it. So, I just wanted to take a chance to finally get to tell my son that I like him.
Wow, thanks, Dad. Hell yeah. That's so cool. It was great to hear from you. I love you.
All right, bye.
Oh, okay. That's a fun fact. Is like I literally do it just to entertain me now. But every time I talk to my dad at the end of the phone, I always go, "Hey man, all right, love you." He's like, "All right." I just love it. It's so great.
I thought that.
And by the way, that's how you end up like this, running off of confidence. It's from probably literally at the age of 34. My dad still hasn't told me that he loves me. It's always like the craziest stuff. Like,
Oh, you got married? I guess that's good. Do you like her?
like, oh Jesus, Dad.
Do you have anything you want to say to Tony? Maybe 3 words?
I like him.
Okay, let's sound it out, okay?
Yeah.
I love. Oh, sorry, we just ran out of time. Like he said it again. I was thinking he was gonna call, and he was like, "I'm finally gonna say it. I love." Like a modem connection comes in or something.
I love it. I wouldn't have it any other way.
That's how you become one of the top young rising comedians in the world.
I
Push you to the
guess.
top, my friend.
I guess. I mean, I think it does help. You got to have somewhat of a weird childhood. I don't know who the most successful person that I know is with 2 fully operational American Pie parents. The closest thing I could probably imagine is some of the guys that have very successful dads that are trying to outdo their dads, if that makes sense.
Sure.
We know a few of those, but really everybody else is fucked up. Like, fucked up. And I think the more fucked up, the sort of better they got. They don't really talk about it a lot, but then you find out and you're like, okay, I get it now. It's a weird correlation. So I always I attribute all those things: the bad neighborhood, the crazy mom, the dad sort of being distant but around but distant. It's a whole part of definitely my makeup for sure.
Yeah, your superhero origin story. Dude, I want to do a new segment that we've never done on this show. And we are going to explore how I broke my arm.
Oh, God, thank you, Jesus, for everything that is. Oh, my God, yes. Are we going to watch the video?
We're going to watch the video.
Oh, my God. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm thrilled about this right now. Jeremiah, I posted this on your, when you posted the Instagram video of this, I posted something that I never post, which is the words like, this is hilarious or whatever. Like, I watched this video so many times. Oh my God, look at the look on your face just to even start. It looks like you're already crying.
By the way, so if you have no context for this, if you're tuning in late, a couple weeks ago I broke my arm skateboarding. My friend David,
which he shouldn't be doing. Let me tell you something. When you're at Jeremiah's level of work and performance and being a necessity, let me tell you, I think I'm really being direct with you about this for the first time, right? I've never really said you shouldn't be doing that, but I've sort of like hinted. Maybe you felt it a little bit like, when are you gonna start skateboarding again? Like I've been very aware of my.
He's asked that question a few times.
Yeah, because this is moronic. You're not a skateboarder. You don't look like a skateboarder. You might have the hair maybe of like some like young skateboarder or something.
Oh wait, this doesn't look like a skateboarder.
No, it doesn't. For you podcast listeners, he has a gigantic helmet. Not like some little helmet. It looks like he's one of the stormtroopers, but like a different version. He has elbow pads. Wrist pads. He's covered in pads. Probably a maxi pad that we can't see in the pants.
And knee pads.
You do have knee pads?
Those are knee pads.
Oh my God. You are a dork. You are a dork, sir. You didn't even belong there. You're fitting in at this skate park like I fit in running the 1600 track race that I ran. Look at you. I mean, it's just embarrassing. And then you're hanging out with guys that do skateboard, right? You're hanging out with David Deary,
Joel Jimenez.
Joel Jimenez, a guy that worked
Pat
at
Reagan
a skate
used
park.
to skate, yeah.
Joel worked at a skate park for what, like a decade or something crazy?
A long time.
And you're hanging out with these people for some reason. Of all the physical activity you could be doing, like real cardio, which let's just say wouldn't hurt. But no, you want to roll around on a board. You want to surf the earth. What a dork. Because you think what? You think it's hard or something. Yeah, it's super hard when you're covered in pads. This is embarrassing. This is one of the most embarrassing things. And the video hasn't even started yet. This is just you.
Well, let's cut to the video.
This is amazing. Can I do some play-by-play on this? I mean,
know how you feel.
no, he doesn't. He doesn't know how you feel. Joel,
It looks smooth though.
yeah, it looks super smooth, just like you.
You're in a good spot.
Yeah, you're in a super good spot, Jeremiah. I mean, for those of you listening, can we pause it for just a second? For those of you listening, Jeremiah has the board hanging off the edge. He has, remember, what have we talked about here today? Confidence. Let me tell you something. There is zero confidence going on here. You look like a guy that's already written his suicide note. That's already taken care of his business. He wrote out a will. Like, this is it. You're on the Golden Gate Bridge. That's what people do. Yeah, no, you're about to jump. This is what people do right before they jump at the end of their lives. They're like, I already made the decision. I'm going to do it, so I just have to do it. He's clapping his hands, like just looking up and down. You have zero confidence.
That's true. I had zero confidence. I psyched myself out.
And you say the words. This is one of my favorite lines of the whole thing. Because we've heard Joel so far, but here's the line. Let's frickin' do this. That's what he says.
That's what I said to myself.
Oh, yeah.
To nobody. I just said it to myself. It was like under my breath. Like,
yeah, but you can. I mean, okay, let's keep it going. I love this. Oh my God, this is my favorite thing I've ever done in any podcast ever. Out of every JRE, out of everything, this is my favorite thing right here. This is amazing. Oh, what am I gonna do? Oh.
Yes.
Oh my God. 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 Oh my God.
Yeah,
oh my
I
God.
don't.
All pads, baby. Oh, look at you. Look at you. Oh my God. It looks like you straight down on the arm. For those of you listening to the podcast, there's no trick. There's no nothing. He falls like a buffoon. Like a person who's never done anything before, not to mention skateboarding.
Tony, do you know how many people have asked me, was that your first time skateboarding?
Yeah, it looks like it.
I had just dropped in. Okay, do you see this over here?
Yeah.
I had just dropped in 4 or 5 other times on this coping right there,
Yeah.
just to the left of where I was.
So what was different?
It was a little bit higher, and I psyched myself out.
Wow.
And it was a little bit steeper. So I just literally, it was a mental game.
I love where you paused this because you could see that your helmet came over your eyes and like sort of your face at this part. It's adorable. Just what a dork. There's really no other way to describe it.
And you see all the weight is on where I broke it underneath.
Yeah.
It's folded up underneath.
Oh my God. I mean, this is one of the greatest things ever. I can't believe you're actually going to skateboard again. Knee pads, elbow pads, wrist pads, helmet. That's just, I've never seen. What else are you wearing? A condom? Like, how much protection do you need to go skateboarding?
I wanted to be safe because I'm a comedian.
Yeah, good stuff.
Yeah, right?
You're supposed to be a responsible performer, and here you are breaking your arm. By the way, we almost missed our flight to Portland on Friday
because of my arm.
Because this guy can't pack his bags, which, oh my God, you pack so much stuff.
How many times do I have to tell Tony? He's like, dude, you pack so much stuff. And then I'm like, for Kill Tony in Portland, I'm literally bringing another person with me. There's a character that's living inside of the bag.
It was very impressive.
And I had a lot of merch that I had to bring too. So
we had to check a bag of inflatable saxophones. Oh.
You got it. Looks smooth.
That's the look right after he said that. I'm like, you really think?
Oh my God. Look at the extra strap of chin strap that hangs from your chin on this. It's very impressive, dude. I've never seen anybody wear a World War II helmet skateboarding before. I mean, look at you. This looks like some horrible low production reenactment. Why are you wearing a bowling ball on top of your head, by the way? Why are there 3 finger prongs right there?
No idea.
It's a half a bowling ball.
Air pockets, pretty much.
God. I mean, what a cheap looking helmet. It seems like
No, that's top of the line.
it is.
Yeah. That's top
Wait,
of the
are
line.
you saying top of the line like
No,
like the way you think like a crepe is a good birthday gift for someone like me? Like top of the line $6.
Bringing it back. Yeah, man.
It's unbelievable. This thing, I mean, look at you. You look like you're crying there. You do see that face, right? What are you thinking there? What do you think you're thinking?
Oh no, I don't know if I can do this.
Why would you do that to yourself? What's fun about that? The excitement you
Well,
think?
no, because I had just done it 3 or 4 other times before, and you get a huge adrenaline rush. I was
Right.
chasing a rush.
Right.
And I literally got 2 inside my head, and I bit off a little bit more than I could chew. But I had just felt the sensation multiple times, and I
you
went back one more time
Let me
than
guess.
I should have.
Let me guess. You didn't film the other ones though, right? Or you did?
100% right. Right before I did this, David Deary goes, "Hold on, dude, let me film this real quick."
Oh my
And then
God.
there's another minute of a video that I haven't posted of him being like, "This is your first big drop in, baby."
Oh my God. I love it.
Yeah,
The camera went on at the perfect time.
pretty much. Yeah,
Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
you're gonna have to watch the video. This is a very visual episode of Jeremiah Wonders, guys. But
And it's, it's one of those things to where I don't talk about this much, but I've always, since I started stand-up, I've always been obsessed with being, I think in order to do comedy, you sort of have to be, you have to feel good. You have to sort of be comfortable, and I've purposefully avoided, a lot of my best friends play basketball 2 days a week.
oh yeah,
And I love
Wednesdays and Saturdays.
I love basketball. I've always played my entire life, but I stopped playing with other humans once I started comedy because I know that I drive right down people's throats with 2 big steps at the end. And I already have a better career than most of my friends and most of the people that play the rinky-dink basketball. Right. No, hear me out. And
I'm listening.
you combine the fact that I have a career that's better than these people with the fact that I just am laying up shit in front of their face and then popping back a 3-pointer, and I fuck up their heads because they're like, "Oh, I thought maybe I'd be better at this since he has that," because this is how stupid people's brains work. "Oh, I thought maybe that this was what I'm better at him then." Nope. Wrong. So they get mad, and what happens? You know what happens? They start throwing elbows. They're boxing out sloppy or whatever. So I have to avoid all these things at all costs is my point. Like, I want to play, but I know that I'll get hurt. So it's funny for me to see someone like you just, "Oh, you know what? I'm going to start skateboarding. That's what I'm going to do." All pads, dude.
But I've been skating for a while.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
How long's it been?
Well, I just gotten back into it, and I just went in a little bit too hard. I'd been skating for like 3 months consistently again, and it'd been a long time. But I used to skate like in high school.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
By this video,
Oh, no,
how
it's
many
horrible.
and how many pads you wear, I just always assumed that.
I was trying to be I was trying to take the precautions of a comedian who was skateboarding, and it blew up in my face.
And another fun fact is, my bet is that you're not wearing that wrist pad, you don't break your arm.
That's what a lot of people who skate they said if you weren't wearing pads, you would not have broken your arm.
Right. A, and B, if you landed on the pad correctly, you wouldn't have broken your arm. But you wanted to stop yourself from falling so badly that you just extend that right arm out.
It was
That's when it
instinct.
happened.
It was instinct. No.
Oh, totally. Oh, I get it.
Yeah.
Yeah. You learn that in wrestling pretty much real quick because it's like you got to just take a bump sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, my God. It's so funny to me, though. All those pads. You could have had every pad in the world. You could have been covered in foam like the Michelin Man. And I
Still would have broken it.
Oh, yeah, totally. You were destined. The look on your face says, "I'm about to break my arm." It's great, though. Literally one of my favorite comedy videos of all time. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Jeremiah's skateboard fall.
Yep. How to break your arm. And I just happened to pull up killtony.tv.
Ooh, one of my favorite websites. You got everything here.
Yep, got all the episodes. There's nothing too flashy, but it gets the job done. You know what I mean?
Yep. Look at all these great names on there. Steve
so many.
Lemmy and Kevin Heffernan the weekend that Super Troopers 2 came out. You know how big of a get that was for me? Super Troopers 1 was one of the first movies that I got to show my friends. I think it was my freshman year of high school, and we smoked a little bit of pot, watched Super Troopers, and they were laid out because I went and saw it in the theater, and I remember buying the DVD the day it came out. Like I knew the day that the DVD was coming out. I had planned to have my buddies over. I'm gonna get them a little bit stoned, just a little bit, and we're gonna watch Super Troopers, and they were dying. And I remember that feeling. It was one of those times where I'm like, man, it feels so good to make my friends laugh. It feels so good. And I remember specifically Super Troopers with that on that day.
That was one of those moments where you're like, wow, this is powerful.
Yeah, I mean, the feeling that it gave me of just looking around and watching them laugh. I was barely even watching the movie. It was just incredible. Very eye-opening moment of how weirdly good it made me feel to watch people laugh or have anything to do with that happening.
Let's get into this next segment, fanning out.
Okay.
Fanning out. Questions from fans.
Oh, we have questions? Ooh, I like this. I remember this from episode 1.
Yeah, man. This is fun.
Is this where you read questions from people on social media, right?
I reached out to people on Instagram and Twitter and asked them if they could ask Tony Hinchcliffe any question. What would it be?
How many questions are you about to ask me? How many times are you about to ask me if I'm gay?
No, I filtered all that out.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
Because the answer is super gay.
What? This marriage is secret.
At Connor_Mahoney, what was your worst bomb on stage?
It was Super Bowl Sunday, probably either 2009, 2010. I was excited to do my employee spot at the Comedy Store on a Sunday. It was Super Bowl Sunday, and there was literally nobody there. And there was just comedians in the back, and I was just so... I was just so pissed and mad that I literally laid down on the banister part of
like the tabletops.
Yeah, I just laid down and literally just like talked about how I may have made like a bad decision in my life and like
whoa,
yeah, like
a little bit of a meltdown.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
But the catch with that was like the talent coordinator. That's one of the times where the talent coordinator at the time, Tommy, fell in love with me because I just let it all out. It was like an artistic performance to him. Meanwhile, and it's true, I started getting laughs towards the end, but again, it's all comedians and the whole front end was a meltdown. So yeah, that's one of the ones that stands out to me. Also, I will never again perform in Albany, New York. For life.
Oh, you told me about this club.
For life, I will never perform in Albany, New York. Not even about the club. Doesn't matter where my career goes, what happens. It doesn't matter if I become Kevin Hart. If anything, I will never, ever, 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 no matter the amount of money, no matter who else is there. Oh, it's a festival. Oh, did you hear? Oh, Rogan invited all of his friends to a big comedy festival in Albany. He's paying them $10 million each. I'm not going. I will not do it. There's nothing Albany, New York can do to get me back there.
Tony, what happened in Albany, New York?
People that think it's okay to live in Albany, New York. That's what happened in Albany, New York. The audience is a bunch of idiots. It's better 10 miles north in Toronto. It's better 10 miles south anywhere else. It's like being stuck in a shopping mall, but it's a city.
Dude, you'll never guess this, but one of the audience members from one of your shows in Albany, New York is calling in right now.
Really? Oh, man, this thing's...
Hey, is this Tony Hinchcliffe?
Yes, hello.
Hey, I saw your little show, and wasn't too impressed. I know it was a while ago, but could I get a refund?
I mean, these people probably did ask for a refund. It was such a I mean, I can't even begin.
Who are you calling garbage, huh?
One of the first things that happened is I wanted to bring a feature with me on this gig, And the owner of the club said, it's not in the budget. It's not a thing you can do for this one. You can't do it. I get there. By the way, it's on the 3rd floor of a shopping mall. Already my least favorite thing.
I love that shopping mall.
Of course you do. The escalator on that side of the comedy, where the comedy club is, so to get there, all the escalators are broken. So it's extra dead. So the only people there are people that like had to find it. You had to find this wing of this like closed down shopping mall. And it was like, so I get there, and in the green room, when I walk in, there's a kid sitting there that looks like me. Like he looks like me. And I'm like, hey man, how's it going? And he goes, hey man, good. How are you? I'm like, he sounds like me. What is this? I'm like, I'm Tony. Nice to meet you. He's like, ba. Nice to meet you. My name's Ryan, or whatever it was. And I go, that's cool. How long you been doing stand-up? 6 years. I'm like, wow, 6 years. That's cool. All here in Albany? He's like, no, the owner of the club flew me in from Chicago for this.
What the frick?
I go, he flew you in? He goes, yeah, he does that sometimes. I go, and he put you up? Yeah. At a hotel? Yeah. And he's paying you for this? Yeah. Why? Is that weird? I'm like, nah, it's not weird. I put it behind me. Back then I go outside.
Now, that kid was good. I really like that guy.
I go out.
First guy.
The host opener guy or whatever, I catch the beginning of his set. He's just hacky, and it's killing in this crowd.
That's always a bad sign.
Horrible sign.
Anytime somebody goes on before you and it's like hacky stuff or like super easy and it's just destroying, you're like, I might have my work cut out for me tonight.
Yeah, it's a bad sign. Normally, a hot crowd before you is what you want. If somebody's doing it, lighting it up, you got real comedy fans. But if they're cracking up, it's slow paced, bad. I mean, bad type of hacky. It's never a good sign. No big deal. I go outside, smoke a little pot. Back then I was smoking cigarettes, had a cigarette. I'm like, it's okay. Everything's fine. I'll plow through this. It's also a Thursday night gig with an entire weekend to go. Right? So it's like, oh, God, I'm at this club. It's broken. They flew out this feature for some reason that looks like me and sounds like me. I go back in. And as I walk to the green room, I catch some of the feature that's on stage. He's talking about literally things. He's grazing over subjects that I was about to cover, but not getting into the subjects. He's using like the subjects as a punchline, if this makes sense at all.
Right.
And then just moving on. But he sounds like me. He looks like me. He's grazing over things that I talk about. And, it's just unbelievable. It's sort of like,
And what you didn't know while you were outside smoking is he opened with, hello, my name's Ryan. I'm one of the top young rising comedians in the world.
Right. And it's like he literally is like, a lot of people think I look gay, but
all that stuff.
Oh, it was I'm literally standing in the back like, am I living a nightmare? So he closes out after 20 minutes or whatever. I'm stuck in this fucking city by myself. At least I'm about to get to do what I love. He gets me, I remember it being like a half-ass intro, like he sort of botched it. No big deal. It happens all the time, right? Tony Hinchcliffe, sort of mispronounced, no big deal. But as I start to walk to the stage, all out of nowhere appears this guy who's walking alongside of me that goes, hit this, dude, hit this. It's a vape pen. I'm like, no, it's work time for me. Thanks, buddy. He's like, no, you gotta hit. I'm still just walking. He's walking alongside of me at the same speed, at the same pace. There's nobody, it's like the aisle way to the thing. No, you gotta hit. No. So I'm like, literally like, no, I'm not gonna, it's cool that you want to smoke. I'm not smoking right now. He keeps walking. So now I'm up on the stage, but it turns out his seat is seat 1A, right down the middle, right in the front.
Oh, man.
So when I literally walk up there and I'm sort of like accepting applause, grabbing the mic out of the mic stand, he has made it to his seat in which he's now absorbing the light. He's turned around. So he's facing the same way as me, facing the crowd. And I can see the crowd looking at him like, and pointing and laughing, like, ha ha ha, isn't that funny? The guy that's not the thing is pretending like he's getting the applause like it's his show. And I'm looking at this crowd already. I haven't even said a fucking word yet. I have not said good evening, hello, anything. And I'm looking at the crowd, and it's like one of those things where it's like slow motion, like, God, I'm making sure that everybody's an idiot. I'm making sure.
You're double checking.
I'm double checking. I'm looking at every face and
scanning the room, Terminator style.
And they're all idiots.
Idiot.
Idiot. Exactly. Just idiots. And this guy starts yelling immediately, like, woo. I go, relax. He goes, all right, I'll relax. I go, you don't need to respond verbally. He's like, I won't respond verbally. I'm like, you know what? Get the fuck out of here. You, gone. You're out already. I don't even want to deal with this. You're done. The smoke thing, you respond. Just get out. And the crowd's sort of like, oh man, why? Oh, I can feel like this grumbling of like, oh, who's this egomaniac? Blah, 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 blah. Like, it's like, you fucks live in Albany. All right? 30 minutes north, you're in Toronto. A beautiful, amazing city that Kill Tony's going to at the end of September. You go 2 hours south, you're in New York City, one of the greatest cities in the world. What, top 3, top 5 in the world? And you live in Albany. You said that's good enough. You said that's where I want to stay. I'm going to stick it out here. This is where I'm going to stay. I'll start a family.
That's whenever I started not liking you.
I bet it was. I started not liking you as soon as I got up there. You were one of the idiots, I'm sure.
We just thought you wanted to hit the vape pen before we did the stage. It was a Juul, tobacco flavored.
There was no recovering from this, by the way. Once I kicked that guy out.
That's a giant hole.
Yeah.
It's especially, and then you doubled down by going in on how bad their city was.
Oh, all the way.
Yeah.
No, I went all the way. I go, I've been here for a few hours, and this was one of the ones where I flew in that day. It's not a thing like I'm used to flying in that day and performing, but it was as bad as it gets. Yeah. Okay. So, I mean, and then the next day, by the way, I wake up from messages from my agent for the first time ever, and the only time ever in my entire career. Voicemail's like, Tony, is everything okay? I got a call from the owner of the club. So it turns out on top of the audience, on top of the venue, on top of everything that was happening, the manager was a rookie manager that didn't kick the guy out right. They didn't do that right. They fucked this up. They fucked that up. And then the manager rats out on me like I'm out of control to the owner. Like, it's like, oh, who's this guy? It's like, dude, you fucking idiot. I'm overqualified for your club. You fucking twat. Anyway, next question.
Anyway, we're going to bust through some of these a little bit quicker. Yeah.
I think I'm going to have to go now. I sat through, your entire show, and then I just sat through you recapping that entire thing.
Hey, the people might want to know how bad it can get. Like, that's an example of a perfect storm.
But when is the next time you come to Albany? I'm curious. I want to get some tickets for that.
No chance in hell, but you can catch the entire Kill Tony crew at Skankfest in New York City, an actual city.
That's like in Brooklyn, right?
Yes, June 14th and 15th. We're on the Sunday.
July, yeah.
It's certainly going to be sold out. We have the Legion of Skanks as guests at Skankfest.
Okay, I'll come to that.
Thank you.
From at Anthonybar on Instagram, who would win in a fist fight in their primes, Undertaker or Hulk Hogan?
The Undertaker. There's no doubt about it. That's a no-brainer. Undertaker still wrestles. If that's not a sign, I mean, it's a no-brainer. It's the Undertaker, Mark Calloway.
All right.
He still wrestles. Hulk Hogan's been retired for like 10, 15, 17, 18, 19 years, something crazy.
At WDL26, do you have any dream panel guests, dead or alive, for Kill Tony?
I mean, 100%. All the dead people. How about that? Let's get that out there. I think that would be amazing. As far as living, yes. It was only a few weeks ago in which I got there on a Monday, and I'm setting up, and one of the cool managers at the Comedy Store, Curtis, comes up to me and goes, just want to let you know, Chappelle just came in. He's walking around the OR. I go, yes, Dave Chappelle. Ba, 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 ba. And something in my gut. And Dave and I know each other. We were just hanging out last night. I got to introduce him to my mom. He said how cool it is that my mom hangs out in such a crazy, thuggish show. And I've known Dave for years. I've opened up for him a few times here in LA. And I got the balls to ask him. It actually happened. But I had to find Josh for something real quick. Like there was something I had to do. And I'm like, all right, let's find Josh. But I couldn't find him. So I go to the back alleyway and this and that. And I'm like, okay, now Dave. And I went and I go to the back door guy. I go, you see Dave Chappelle? I had it ready. I knew that I was going to say it right. You know what I mean? The pitch. Yeah. You only get one shot, no pun intended, at something like that. And I knew that I had it right. Hey, Dave, I do a show for years now where we get to watch new comedians or, people giving it a shot. We get to watch them do stand-up for 60 seconds and give them feedback and advice. And I think you'd really like it, you know what I mean, as a fan of comedy. And I think you would be a great guest on it. If you want to hang out with us, there's an empty seat for you in the main room because we had one guest booked that night. Who was our last one banger? It was Kirk Fox or something like that. And they go, Dave just left. So, Dave is right there. He's right in my sights. We have some other fun ones coming up. Justin Roiland. I got Bob Saget in the docket.
That'll be fun, man.
Yeah, we have a lot of fun ones coming up. I'm very happy to say that I've booked a lot of the dream guests. Sometimes it doesn't go exactly how I want it to with our dream guests, with some of the biggest comedians in the world, because it's like they have to let go of their ego a little bit, and they have to play and share. There's a lot of things that go on there.
There's a lot of sharing on
which I know Dave would be great at. I know for a fact Dave's great at that. Some of the other guys, I know for a fact they're not great at that. They need to maybe the type of guy that would do a podcast, like rambling to just himself. Go on, keep the next question.
Anywho, at JavaMan217, he's referring to the Monster Energy drink. Jeremiah and Tony, what was your best meal and what city was it in?
Fuck that. Now that is a hard
Or the
question.
best time that we've had eating together. Because we Tony and I Instagram story or put it on our profile or whatever, like a lot of the meals, and we eat a lot of meals together on the road in a lot of different cities.
Yeah, let it be known that the Monster Energy Outbreak Tour in August of last year was when we realized how much we have a true combined love for food.
Oh, yeah.
We both love food. And it was during that tour in which we came up with the idea of the Weight Gain Challenge.
Yep.
On plane rides and car rides, we're like, we should do a fucking reverse Segura Kreischer and gain weight because we love food. Why not? Turn it into a thing. God, excuse me. And to try to nail it down to one thing would be crazy. We had so many great meals. We shared the world's largest hamburger.
The Mammoth Burger in Minnesota.
Mm-hmm. We had a beet salad and steaks on the first stop of the tour. What was that one? It was damn, I can't remember.
Yeah.
But we had a lot of steaks. We had prime rib the other day in Portland. Was that Portland? Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
San Francisco, the clam chowder and
I took you to the Fisherman's Wharf for your first time, where Jeff Ross once took me for my first time, and I took you to the same place that he took me. It's cool. That's one of those things where it gets, fun for me. I'm not saying I'm at Jeff Ross level, but it is cool to get to share, and it's cheesy as it sounds, like it's fun to know that one day you're going to get to take somebody there and be like, let's go here, I'll try the clam chowder, and just watch their minds melt. Just like showing my friends Super Troopers, I look at food the same way, like getting to watch someone's enjoyment when it really hits their face, like, oh my God, this is good. Like it's some places around the country are just undeniable. Same thing with those, the poutine place in Portland, those food trucks. Portland's Portland's one of the best food cities in the country. No, almost no contest. It's hard to beat Portland. So I'll just say the city of Portland was
Some highlights.
One of my favorite ones.
Yeah,
'cause
Madison, Wisconsin, the pizza, the mac and cheese pizza, and the different places there was really good. There's, dude, I mean, Lou Malnati's.
Yeah.
The way we ordered that on the way, the routing, like through Chicago.
Yeah, we had to go through Chicago to get to Detroit from Indianapolis. Or something.
And on the way to Detroit and after, we had Lou Malnati's for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and I had I clogged up the toilet at the Ferndale Magic Bag.
Literally broke the toilet.
I literally broke it while, right before I had to go out and open the show.
And the guy at that club already didn't like you.
This was the...
It doesn't matter. That
doesn't matter. That doesn't matter. Every once in a while I clash. It's rare that I have clashes with people, but every once in a while right away somebody will be like, no, not this guy. And I'm just like, you're lost, buddy. At matt.ensign on Instagram, what would your professional wrestler name be? Would it be the Golden Pony?
No, I've been asked this before, and I would be the $1 billion man. There used to be a wrestler called the $1 Million Man, and he would shove $100 bills in his opponent's mouths after he beat him and shit. His whole thing was dollar signs and all this, but I think it's more applicable today than ever before. I think the best bad guy now is a rich guy. I think it's just,
white rich guy.
That's right. 1%, like that type of thing. Granted, it's always, I have no connection with that, but as a character to play, to generate what we call heat, which is boos from the crowd, which is so important in professional wrestling, because that's, what drives the story. You want to see him get beat, or if he wins, it's even crazier. Because
what would your voice be for the $1 billion man? I wonder what that would maybe sound like. I'm very curious.
Well, let's just say that everybody's got a price and everybody's gonna pay.
Buffalo Bill? When did you become a wrestler?
Yeah, I'm the $1 billion man, everybody.
Tony, quit using your real voice. I've said, what would your wrestler voice sound like?
There is only one voice. Anyway, the $1 billion man.
That's what the $1 billion man would sound like. Well, you heard it here. If Tony was a professional wrestler, that's what he would sound like.
Take it from the top.
Take it from the top. At Real Redhead Comic, what's your favorite character of the Kill Tony band?
Oh my God! I mean, what happened on Monday was probably my favorite thing ever, where you were just doing a compilation of everything. But if I had to, if I had to narrow it down to one, I'd have to probably go. I mean, to say Joe Rogan after seeing him for the first time seems disrespectful to feminist Stacy, to Shanks, to so many. I mean, god damn, Professor Snape on Sunday in Portland laid down the law.
That was fun, man.
He laid down the law. I kept the wand. I still have it.
Yeah?
Yeah, I took it. I saw you had left it in the green room, right? You were going to leave it there?
Yeah.
It was a stick, right?
Yeah.
I kept it. It made it home to me.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's hanging over my little liquor cabinet right now. Yeah.
Yeah, what's funny about the 5-year anniversary, so we did a compilation of characters, which, again, if you haven't watched that yet, watch it. So for the show, we did the Kill Tony band, so Joel Jimenez played you, Tony Hinchcliffe, Pat Reagan played Red Band, and then Chroma Chris played Josh Martin, and I played Joe Rogan. And then we went into The Prisoners, which my character's name is Shanks.
If you know anything about Joe Rogan, if you've ever seen him do anything or ever listened to him do anything at all, you have to watch the beginning of this episode of Kill Tony. Not trying to drive you there to listen to my show, but it's one of my favorite things in all of the history of being a fan of comedy. You killed me so hard. It was crazy. You killed Joe so hard. It's crazy. Dom couldn't believe it. everybody's in shambles. The room was insane. Everything you did, I've seen a lot of improvising in the last 11 years of hanging around comedy, but I've never seen anything on that level. Absolutely insanity. You were saying things that I've heard him say the way he says it. And it's not even like you were saying things that I've heard him say, say just the two of us, not like on stage or trademark things. Like you just hit it. You have to watch it again and then watch what Jeremiah does and watch Joe's face, because Joe's waiting for you to flub it. Joe's waiting for you to maybe go over the line or be disrespectful or say something he doesn't say, and he was going to nail you, of course, right?
Of course, yeah, which he has the right to. I'm freaking doing an impression of him. I'm in full bald cap.
Hell yeah. But instead, you could feel the love, the respect,
Well, that's the thing. Whenever they say impressions are the highest form of flattery, this comes from me being obviously a fan of his and getting to know him over the years, and I've watched his sets and his show and everything.
Yeah. So
yeah, it came from a place of love for sure.
Yeah, and the full commitment. You looked like a little bit.
Whenever we're right next to each other, I'm like, oh, this is scary looking.
Yeah, you looked scary. You looked like Jim Carrey at the end of Man on the Moon.
That's hilarious.
You bald is a frightening thing.
Oh yeah. So we didn't even get to, in that episode, we had on the docket for the rest of the show, we had to actually move up the Jolene and Trump because we are approaching the end of the episode, but we didn't do the Westworld Cowboys. We didn't do the Mechanics. We didn't do the Emo Kids.
Jesus, you thought you were going to do all those? Oh, man, it worked out perfectly.
It worked out,
dude.
yeah.
It worked out so perfectly.
Yeah.
I'm glad you didn't do that many changes, because those characters that you did
need to breathe a little bit.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, and that's what we felt. We felt in the moment, we're like, we got to let these, like...
I never, ever, 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 never do I listen to or watch Kill Tony afterwards. I always I spend the next 2 hours after the show ends in sort of an analytical mindset, reflecting back on the things, thinking of changes and evolutionary things for the next episode, this and that, like a real crazy person, a weirdo, while during the 2 hours after the show, while meeting people that came there for that night and hanging out with friends and complimenting you and this and that. It's always a thunderstorm in my head. But I rewatched yesterday, Monday's episode, to show my mom. I'm holding the iPad out in front of us and she's just dying and this and that. And there's a part where Joe Rogan says, when feminist Stacy is on, he utters the words. He goes, "That is my favorite character I've ever seen," or "That is my favorite character of all time." He says those words. Seeing Stacy, mind you, for the very first time.
Second time.
Wait, he saw Stacy before?
The first time I
my
ever
God, that's
did.
right, because he kept calling you
Daisy. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Because he was looking at me like
I love that. I'm so glad he got to see a character for the second
Yeah.
time. So he understands how, how crazy it is what you were doing, why the crowd was going as crazy as they were when you were Shanks. You had already, it was just so cool.
It was fun, man.
Yeah.
We were all like, it felt like true, like we were playing like all-star basketball, like throwing the ball around, like, you got this? You got this? Okay, I'm about to. Yeah.
It felt like to me.
No look passes,
yeah,
the whole thing.
It was literally, I said this after the show, I go, that was like an NBA Finals game, and we did Harlem Globetrotters shit throughout it. Like, it's a big, serious deal. And one of the things that I noticed was towards the end of the episode, we had a boring lady. Mm-hmm. And we had an unlikable guy, perhaps one of the most unlikable people ever. He knocked over a table's drinks on his way to the stage.
Wouldn't apologize and wouldn't offer to pay for it either. It was weird.
It was weird. The guy was just a dick. And I'm thinking to myself the whole time, even that helped, because I knew that, that shows how hard what we've been doing is. It's the most improvised show out there.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry to say it, and I've said this on Kill Tony a few times, but I think we make SNL look weak. They have millions of dollars to spend, tens and tens of writers, all the rehearsal in the world. They know what's going on. Our show, improvised as hell. Characters, drawings, music, comedians, comedy, improvising, everything's happening in this storm. So I liked that towards the end of that episode on Monday for the 5-year anniversary that we got a boring lady because I'm trying to draw it out of her. I'm not really getting it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Nothing's really clicking because I could feel everybody sort of feels bad for her. She was sort of like maybe in her 40s and like, it just wasn't bumping. You sort of feel bad for someone that's been doing it a few years that wasn't funny, that sort of doesn't take it seriously. And the most exciting thing about her is that she reads books or some shit like that. And then we get the dickhead up there who's just generating booze. And I love it because it shows how hard what we're doing is. And I knew that I was sitting on my mom. Like I was like waiting to pull the trigger on that. And I knew that it was going to make it bigger, her thing, that she wasn't going to be buried by some comedian, that the whole crowd was about to lose their minds because they also thought that the douchebag, the dickhead at the end, was going to be the last thing that they saw.
Right.
I already said go to the bucket one more time, and then I go, what do you say we go to the bucket one more time? And then we
trying
had
to cleanse the palate, yeah.
Right. And then boom, I knew that it was going to work perfectly. I knew.
Was it surreal seeing your mom do that minute of stand up?
It was super surreal. It's crazy because you're just sort of like hoping. You're hoping that she stays on track. I love that you helped with the microphone. Like immediately I noticed that. I'm like, oh my God, thank you. Because, there's so many things it's like a golf swing, stand-up comedy. There's so many things to remember at once. And if you think any too hard about any one thing at all, you're fucked because you just forgot about the other two things. So she doesn't know how to hold the microphone. She doesn't know where. She was just literally at a couple points talking. And I'm thinking, God, no, come on, get the in your face. Like I'm thinking all these things so fast, and your hand was like an angel. It literally reminded me of like this shit you see, like where there's one set of
angels
footprints
in the outfield.
Yeah, exactly. Your hand coming in and putting the mic in front of her face. Like I'm like, oh my God, thank you, because I knew that if she just was able to execute, that it was going to destroy the room.
And then full stand, dude. One of my favorite parts when you watch the video. So spoiler, she gets a full standing ovation
upon her arrival, and at the
Red
end.
Band is the only person sitting, and Tony goes, "Wow, a full standing ovation." Except Red Band, and then he like he gets
I'm
up.
looking at Joe Rogan and Dom Irera fully standing in like salute mode, and then you got Red Band over there still trying to figure out why the cat and the bear isn't working. Jesus Christ.
All right, let's do one or two more of these, and then we got sax talk.
Ooh.
A story of a sexual encounter.
Ooh, damn.
Ooh,
Dirty.
me playing some sax underneath. I think this is an important question to address because I keep getting it. You keep getting it. So let's talk about it real quick. At Glassix_co, I'd like to know the full story about Pat leaving. That last episode he was on with the keyboard FX seemed like a meltdown, but that's also kind of his shtick. Glad to see him come back for the 5-year anniversary, though, and that he's still doing the pre-show.
Pat's a rock star. I found Pat, I think it was, maybe he was opening up a roast battle or something like that. I gave him a huge compliment. I go, man, I hate musical comedy, but what you did was awesome up there tonight. And he goes, cool, here's a CD. And at the time I had this little janky card that had a CD player, and I remember putting in the CD thinking,
Pat Reagan smells like shit or something like that.
And I've tried listening to maybe at the time 35 people's CDs in my lives, and it's 0 for 35. And I popped in Pat Reagan smells like shit, and sounded good. It sounded like real music, and it was actually funny, and that's all it takes. It turns out if the music's actually good, if you were just listening for the music, you got it. And then the more you pay attention to the lyrics, the more you realize this shit's hilarious. Greg's dad. How the fuck is what? Some dude named Greg's dad is in this?
It goes 1, 2, 3. Then we jump in the water. It's just you and me and your oceans of blue that surround us. It's true that surround us. Ding, ding.
Anyway, so I listened to that album and my mind was completely blown. I'm like, just like with anyone and everything when it comes to Kill Tony, it's like, I like to work with my funniest friends. It is a big deal, and yes, it always cracks me up sometimes. I'll see like a comment or a tweet or something like, how does it feel that Jeremiah was funnier than you yesterday? It's like, you fucking idiot. It's by design, you buffoon. It's, that's what I want. It's no matter, I want everybody to kill. If it's up to me, I'll be the least funny person on the show. I'm hosting it. The fact that you are, right? Does this make sense?
Oh, totally.
Like look, let me put it to you this way. LeBron James, I'm not saying I'm LeBron, but LeBron doesn't care if he scores 13 points. If his team wins, then you won. It's about the W.
Right.
And
people ask me all the time, and this is not a knock against anybody who's asking to do stand up on the spot, but I have to tell them, I'm like, I am always trying to be the lowest person on the totem pole.
Yeah.
On those lineups.
Yeah.
Like I'm trying to build everybody up around me.
And I don't think a lot of people realize that they've never seen anyone host a show like Kill Tony is hosted. There's anything you've ever seen on your TV or your internet or your Netflix or your fucking anything.
There's so many moving parts.
I will put anything up against hosting a live episode of Kill Tony. I don't think people know every show they've ever watched on TV. When the person's looking at the camera at you, they are reading words written by a writer like me. It's fucking true. And it's crazy shit. And Kill Tony is all moving parts continuously. I'm looking at you. I'm looking at Dom.
Yeah.
I'm looking at Joe. I'm feeling out Joelberg. I'm looking at what Red Band has loaded up. I'm talking to that person. I'm still thinking of funny stuff once in a while, but mostly I'm hosting. I'm thinking, what can we find out about this person? What else?
What's going to lead to
Right.
set everybody else up or yourself up for the next big thing.
And that's why the show's completely refillable, and we have new things happening all the time at 260 some episodes in 5 years.
So
So the Pat thing was, I asked him if he wanted. I literally gave Pat the most royal treatment that I've ever even heard of. I go, dude, you can do whatever you want. How about crowd warm up? Basically, you get to perform in front of the audience that we've built while audience load in is happening. I feel like the show's so special that while the room's being sat, before the show starts, that we could have even more going on. So I think you playing some music up there would be great. Do whatever you want, which is a crazy opportunity to have, 15, 20 minutes to do whatever you want. Gave it to him, and I can't remember if immediately I offered him the band. I go, will you be the band? I mean, it all just happens so quick because it's just full trust. And I don't think it's really, I don't think the show really fits Pat's sense of humor. And it sort of ended up being, I don't think it completely fits it. It certainly does. He absolutely has killed, you know what I mean? But it's hard to describe to somebody that's not, a level Jedi comedy fan, that Pat's a little bit alty, if you know what that means, right? It's sort of like a go against the grain. He's a writer for the Eric Andre show, so that might tell you something of like
a little context for
very outside the box. Like it's like what hasn't been done, you know what I mean? And he was his character sort of evolved into sort of like a lackey, I guess one could say, almost like a stooge, sort of a little bit, right? Sort of like how Red Band is too, like, Red Band, yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's where that's my boy Patty Reagan came from, is
Right.
whether he would kill
Right.
or whenever he'd say something so shocking and outrageous that I'm just like, you don't even know how to respond to it, but I'm still endorsing. That's my boy Patty Reagan right there.
Yeah. And the show just kept evolving, and it's a natural part of the evolution. And the keyboard day that happened, I never even talked to Pat about that. We never even had to have a discussion about that. I talked, with no one about that, and it just organically happened that I think
he called you or actually pulled you aside,
Yep.
if I remember correctly.
Yep, he
And
gave
just
me a
like-
phone call. I took it, and we talked about it, and he said that if it's okay with me, that he wants to move on from the show, and that he still wants to do the crowd warm-up. And I go, love you, buddy. Let's do it.
Yeah.
I'll keep I go, I can keep the rest of the band? He goes, yep. I go, so Jeremiah will be the new band leader? He's like, yep. I'm like, okay, crowd warm up. See you Monday. Have fun. Keep taking chances, having fun, because I think he's so talented that I still fully, completely, more than 100% endorse him and want him to have fun and take chances before the show and looking, Kill Tony, using Kill Tony as a place for him to grow. Because I think you and him and your guys' new album is going to make you guys put you in a whole nother.
I'm so excited for you to hear that, man.
Me too.
And everybody. Like I've been talking about on this podcast for a bit. It's being mixed right now, but I'm like, you mentioned music that sounds good and then the lyrics being funny. Like, we put a lot of work and
I've seen you guys do a lot of practice, a lot of work, but most importantly, I've worked with you guys long enough to know that neither one of you really get that excited about something. And when you guys bring up this album, I can tell that you're sitting on some nuclear power. So you're both, when it comes to future projects, very humble guys always. And you guys are excited about this. And the fact that you're excited has me like, whoa. Hopefully you guys will still hang out with me after this album comes out.
Whatever, dude.
Come on.
We're editing with Lucas Hurl later today, a music video that we shot. One of the first music videos that we're going to drop for it.
Dude City Films.
At Corey Shaw TY, what do you think Jeremiah versus Tony round 2 should be? People keep asking me that question. People are like, what's the next thing you guys are going to do for Kill Tony as a thing or whatever?
Wow, I don't really know. What do we do? Another weight gain challenge? I don't think that's going to work. I think we learned you have a slight advantage when it comes to getting fat. I don't know. Have you put any thought in this? That's a tough question.
Well, we can't fight because we're in different weight classes.
For sure. Yeah. Because I would break your nose so fast that...
Well, that would be the thing. We couldn't do face shots, I'll tell you that much.
Yeah.
But I don't know, man. My reach is pretty...
It's okay.
We'll be thinking of it, guys.
I hope so.
Did you have a worst night as a Comedy Store employee?
Worst night as a Comedy Store.
You just remember, this is the worst night being employed here.
There was one night, Halloween, again, I think it's 2009, 2008 maybe. I was brand spanking new, just a little boy. And I did, there was a guy named John Sheezer working there, cool dude.
Kansas City's own.
Yep. And he had been working there longer than me, so it was sort of like a peer pressure thing. It was Halloween night. It was one of my first Halloweens in West Hollywood, seeing all the crazy stuff happening. And at some point at like 10 or 11, which is pretty early in a Comedy Store night, around 10 o'clock, he goes, "Hey man, eat this. It's mushrooms." And I took a little handful and ate the mushrooms, and it's now like 11:30 or whatever, and it really didn't feel anything. And I had to do the marquee. I had to go out front and get the letters and the ladder, and I had to go up and, that's a human being's job, is to get up on a ladder and to take out the old letters for whatever comedians perform there that night and put in the comedians that are performing there tomorrow night. And you're really high up there. It's, at least, 15, 20 feet or something like that at least. And, of course, once I get up there, that's when all of a sudden I stop. I pause, like somebody hit pause on me. And I was tripping my balls off.
While you're on top of this ladder changing out the marquee.
Yes. And I just had no idea what was going on. I was like, I don't even know what letter. I was looking at like an S. And I'm like,
it looks like a Chinese, like wingding symbol or something like that.
I remember the cars going by because it was nighttime on the Sunset Strip, right? Just the street lights looking like meteors. I felt like I was in outer space and they were comets and meteors just like going by like... It was crazy.
Tony.
Whoa. Is this the Mushroom Man?
This is the Mushroom Man.
This is the guy that Jeremiah thinks you hear when you're on mushrooms?
Isn't that the guy that you hear when you're on mushrooms?
Oh, yeah, totally.
Tony.
Yo, wow. Yes, Mushroom Man.
Don't freak out, okay?
Okay, I won't. I sort of want to, but...
You're tripping your balls off right now.
Oh, my God. This is frightening.
Your soul is about to enter another dimension.
Oh, yeah? What dimension is it? A dimension where Jeremiah is a good skateboarder?
Possibly. That is a dimension very, very far away.
You are right. If I've ever seen anybody trip before, it was Jeremiah when he was told that oh, let's do this, bro.
As the Mushroom Man, I have to tell you, you took too many mushrooms.
Yes, I did.
And now you will pay the price.
Oh my God, what's going to happen? Is this the $1 billion man? Wow, the Mushroom Man and the $1 billion man.
We are the same.
Wow.
We are the same, Tony.
Oh my God, this is frightening.
Yes, the $1 billion man is a bad, bad man. But the Mushroom Man is very flippant. He can be good and he can be bad. What will he be for you tonight?
That is very scary.
Perfect.
Well,
scary stuff.
Well, that explains your definitely your worst night at the Comedy Store for sure.
Yep. Yeah, it was very trippy. And I was poor. You got to realize, like, I was like poor, and my living situation's horrible. No matter what time that was, whether I was in the, in a weird studio apartment with a bunch of comedians or in the backseat of my car. I can't remember exactly when that fell, when that timeline fell, but it was, I was eating Subway every day. I'd get a $5 footlong and I'd eat 6 inches for lunch and 6 inches for dinner. And that was basically how I survived.
Wow.
$5 a day. I didn't even have a fridge. I couldn't make my own sandwich. It's like if I bought anything, the other comedians in whatever apartment I was living in would just eat it. You can't, there was just no safety. You know what I mean?
This brings us to our final segment. We'll do it real quick.
Yeah.
Sax Talk.
Let's do it.
Oh, Sax Talk.
This is where you play the saxophone and we talk about crazy stuff or something like that.
Yeah, crazy sex story that you've had in the past, and I'll jazz it up with some saxophone underneath you.
Really? Is that true? A crazy sex story?
Uh-huh.
People really give you true crazy sex stories?
Oh, yeah. Show? It doesn't have to be necessarily crazy. It can just be any kind of sexual encounter that you've had. Because, like, Dom Herrera shared one where he almost had a threesome, but then he came on his dashboard in his car. He didn't even make it inside the hotel room with these two chicks.
That is hilarious.
It was amazing.
Oh, my God. Wow. A sex story, man. Where do I don't want to do that one, so maybe we'll...
He's like going through all and like filtering out which one. I am married now. Which one do I not want out there?
Oh, wow. Crazy sex story. Man. All right. Well, nothing gets me in the mood more than the sweet sound of that horn. So, let's see. Sex story. Should I give you a sex story from before I got married or after I got married? I'll let you pick that one, and then I'll go with it. Because it's very educational to you kids out there that haven't been married. What happens to sex after you've been married? So it's one or the other.
Okay, let's do after marriage.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's do it this way. So I got married to my lovely wife who I live with. We have a puppy together. We sleep together every night when I'm not on the road, and we wake up every morning together, and stuff gets sort of redundant once in a while, And after you get married, no matter how hard you try, there's always a thing where you realize, like, oh, this is it. It's the same pussy forever. This is it. So really, sort of a lot of stuff slowly fades away, right? The foreplay, the oral sex, all of a sudden you just, sort of will walk up, like the other day, for example. My wife's in the kitchen, just making some pasta carbonara. For those of you that don't know, carbonara edits, but I know a lot of you out there are thinking, oh, what is that, like peas and ham with a cream sauce? I live in Albany. No, you're wrong. That's not what real carbonara is. Real carbonara is, an egg-based sauce with really good bacon, but you got to cut the fat out of the bacon. It's lean meat. And it's one of my wife's specialties. And I'm already smelling this fucking bacon cooking. Life's good. It's one of my favorite meals. I know for a fact I have a good spot that night. I know this food's going to give me the fuel and I'm going to have a fun night. And my wife's cooking. And, like I said, the foreplay sort of goes out of the window sometimes. Turns out this would be one of those times. She's cooking and, I come up behind her and I tell her how good it smells and how excited I am to eat it. And then I spit on her pussy and shoved my dick in her. Yeah, I came in like probably about, 25 seconds. And, I had lifted up her dress and she was sort of bent over the kitchen counter, but it's not like a hard bend. It wasn't like a 90-degree angle or anything like that. So I'm sort of like holding this dress up while coming all over her back and her asshole and like her butt crack, and it's just sort of shooting everywhere. I can see that a lot of it got in this dress. It was an explosive. Damn right. And, I'm seeing that, the whole thing's a mess. Now all of a sudden, I'm holding up the dress with the left hand and cum's just everywhere, right? So what do I have to do? I can't let go of this left hand. I have to hold that up or else her pretty little dress gets all cummy. So I'm like, I have to keep her there and somehow I have to reach for the paper towels that are on a roll on the other side of the kitchen. So it's like I'm holding this and I'm like, stay there, don't move, because she's sort of just like, oh my God, you're going to get something, right? And I'm able to reach the paper towels and I wipe from low to high. Because you never want to go high to low. Accidentally make a baby. So you want to get the cum to go, if you will. Called the old come and go. And that's basically how I have sex now. It's like when it happens, it's just basically a fucking explosive quickie, and that's really it. And that's just a story of like a common day. But if you want to hear a crazy sex story, you're gonna have to come see me and Jeremiah do stand up live because I can't give away those golden bits. Don't call it a comeback. That's what that story's called.
What a lovely story about your new nuptials.
That's basically
and how it's changed.
Yeah, that's my wife.
Yeah.
Now lately it's weird because I wanted to do it the other day, the same type of thing, because it's like that was fun a couple weeks ago. One of the things we did. I wanted to do it the other day, but now we just got a puppy, and it turns out I'm like an overprotective parent. Like, I don't want to ruin my brand here on your show, but it turns out I have like a really big heart.
It's true. Tony's one of the nicest people I've ever met.
You're serious, right?
I'm being 100% serious with that.
And I mean,
he keeps his friends and loved ones closer than anybody.
Yeah.
You don't want to cross Tony, though.
Yeah. And so I got this new puppy, and I'm like way overly protective. I don't like leaving her alone. I like to make sure that we set training and like examples, and like we stay consistent and all these things. and I'm deathly afraid of coming on this dog. Like it's like I have a legitimate
Yeah,
fear.
you don't want your dog to accidentally get into anything.
I don't want her to eat my cum. I don't want her to have to lick it off, or I'm afraid that cum is going to drip on my dog. It's a fear that I have every day. I do not want to come on this cute little puppy. Her name's Mallory. She's a half beagle, half Australian shepherd. Half American, half Australian, just like my kids are going to be. Hello. Whoopsie daisy.
You want kids?
Eventually, I think way down the road. You know, I just signed on to a 3-year payment thing for this Corvette that I got. So it's a 2-seater. So at least for another 3 years.
There you go.
That's how you do it right there. Pro tip. Get it when you get a new car, get a 2-seater. You won't have to have a baby.
I already have a 2-door coupe, Harvey Dent.
Yeah, that's right.
Tony's always called his old Mercedes was called the Joker, and he called my car Harvey Dent because there's a giant dent in the driver's side door.
It's not really a dent. It's more like the left side of his car was in a demolition derby. And the right side is just a shitty car.
It's Harvey Dent for you right there. But now his new car is Batman, and my car's Two-Face now.
It is Two-Face because the other side's nice.
I know, the other side is nice.
That is so funny. Harvey Dent and Two-Face.
Yeah, man.
That's so crazy. Wow.
Yeah, man.
I love that.
I keep getting the good side of the coin on this. If you know anything about Two-Face. Hello.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, anything else you want to plug? I mean, a lot of the people who listen to this also follow your stuff, but we got some fun Kill Tony stuff coming up.
Huge stuff coming up. You know, I already mentioned New York City, but really the bread and butter of what we're excited to promote right now is Kill Tony in Montreal, Canada at the Just for Laughs Festival, and Toronto, JFL 42. And I really am going to figure out a way to make sure I have to figure out a way to get you to both of those.
I'm really hoping that I can make it there.
I have to figure out a way. If we have to put you in a hot air balloon and sneak you over the border of Canada, then we're gonna do it. I mean, not like that's the issue, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, for sure.
A bunch of stand-up comedy and things like that. Lexington, Kentucky, we have coming up, and Kill Tony in Nashville, Toronto, Montreal, New York City,
Cleveland, yeah.
Detroit, Lansing, Grand Rapids,
Fort Wayne, Indiana.
Yeah.
I
mean, there is a lot of work going on here, and I do stand up a lot at those festivals as well. That's all part of the wired in deal with both Montreal and Toronto, is I have to do stand up performances and Skankfest. I'm going to be singing a song at Skankfest, but I'm pretty sure Skankfest is already good and sold, and they don't need any help. So, you know, if you're in any of those Midwest cities, we're going to be there. Cleveland, Hilarities, August 1st and 2nd.
That's where we're doing it?
Yeah.
I love that club.
Me
I
too.
love that club.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
We have the rest of the year is going to be a lot of fun, and always more announcements and fun stuff coming around the corner. If you're ever in LA, come see Kill Tony live on a Monday. And if you live wherever else, come see me live. Unless you live in Albany, kill yourself.
Well, dude, and also check out killtony.tv. I made the website. It has all the Kill Tony video episodes all in one place on one page, and it's just super user-friendly where you can just click on the link and go right to it.
And, you know, maybe there's a couple listeners out there that, you know, maybe you gave Kill Tony a shot early on or something like that, and, you know, maybe you're not the biggest diehard fan of it. I double dog dare you to listen to the 5-year anniversary episode. All of my involvement aside, as a fan of comedy, I think it's one of the cooler things.
It's special, man.
Yeah, it really is. Jeremiah is out of control. If you're, of course, if you're listening to this, you're a fan of Jeremiah. I mean, I don't think I've ever seen anyone shine like you did on this show. So thank you so much, and
dude, thanks for building something that we can all play on together, man. It's amazing.
I still think it's just the beginning of the beginning, my friend.
It is.
We have there's a lot of fun stuff on the horizon.
To many more. Love you, buddy.
Hell yeah, love you.
Jeremiah Watkins.